උඹලා ගේන කාබන් විමෝචනය සඳහා ගේන බොරු ප්‍රතිපත්ති තව දුරටත් ගැලපෙන්නේ නැහැ. ලෝකේ පුරා සිටින සියලුම දෙනාගේ ආහාර අයිතිය සහවුරු කිරීම සහ ආහාර නිෂ්පාදනයේ යෙදී සිටින සියල්ලන්ගේ අයිතිවාසිකම් තහවුරු කිරීම වෙනුවෙන් තමයි මේ සමුළුව දීර්ඝකාලීනව පවතින්නේ. මේ සමුළුවේ ප්‍රධාන අරමුණ තමයි 2025 නියැලෙනි කියන සමුළුව ඉන්දියාවේදී පැවැත්වීමට නියමිතයි. නියැලෙනි කියන්නේ ආහාර සුරක්ෂිතභාවය සඳහා වන ගෝලීය එකමුතුව. ඒකට ඒක ඇතුලේ දීවරයෝ, ගොවියෝ, පාරිභෝගිකයෝ, ආදිවාසීන් හැම කණ්ඩායමක්ම ඉන්නවා. මේකේ ඒකාබද්ධ සමුළුවක් විදිහට අපි ලෝකෙට කියන්න උත්සාහ කරනවා. තවදුරටත් මේ ආහාර ක්‍රියාවලිය මේ විදිහට පැවතුනොත් මිනිස්සු බඩගින්නේ මැරෙනවා. ඒක වෙනස් කරන්න අවශ්‍යයි. ඒ සඳහා වන විකල්පයන් යෝජනා කිරීම තමයි මේකේ මූලික අරමුණ. විශේෂයෙන්ම අපි කියන්න කැමති මේ වෙලාවේ අපේ ජනබලයක් නැති ජනාධිපති ඉන්දියාවේදී කියනවා අපි කෘෂිකර්ම නව්‍යකරණයක් දක්වා යනවා. අපි වතුකරේ ජනතාවට ලයින් කාමරවල වෙනුවට ගම් විදියට ඒව නම් කරනවා කියලා. ඒ වගේම තමයි ඉන්දියාවේ සහ ලංකාවේ අතර දීවරයන්ට ඇති ප්‍රශ්න විසඳන්න අපි උත්සාහ කරනවා කියලා. මේකයි අපිට කලාපීය බලයක් අවශ්‍ය. ඒකයි අපි ගොවියෝ, දීවරයෝ, ආදිවාසීන්, වතුකම්කරුවන් මේ ඔක්කොම එකතු වෙලා අද මේ සමුළුව තියන්නේ. අපි කියනවා මේ වගේ ජන බලයක් නැති ආණ්ඩුවලට අපි අවස්ථාව දෙන්නේ නැහැ. ඔවුන්ට ඕන විදියට ලංකාවේ කෘෂි කර්මාන්තය, දීවර කර්මාන්තය, වතු ජනතාවගේ අයිතිවාසිකම් අවලංගු කරන්න. විශේෂයෙන්ම මේ වෙලාවේ උරුමය ඔප්පු දීගෙන යනවා. ඇයි? උරුමය ඔප්පු දෙන්නෙම ජනතාවගේ මංකොල්ල කන්න බැරි වෙච්ච ඉඩම් ටික මංකොල්ල කන්න තමයි මේ රනිල් උත්සාහ කරන්නේ. මේ ජනබලයක් නැති ආණ්ඩු වලින්, ඔවුන්ගේ ප්‍රතිපත්ති වලින් විශේෂයෙන්ම අපි දකිනවා මේ වෙලාවේ ඉඩම් සම්බන්ධව, ජලය සම්බන්ධව ඔවුන් ගන්නා තීන්දුව తీරන වැව්වල සෝලා පැනල් ගහනවා. ජනතාවට ඔප්පු දීලා ඉඩම් මංකොල්ල කන්න හදනවා. තෘණ භූමි උදුර ගන්නවා. මෙන්න මේ සියලුම ක්‍රියාවලියන් ඇතුලේ ජනතාවගේ ආහාර අයිතිය අහෝසි කරන්න තමයි මේ ආණ්ඩු සැරසෙන්නේ. අපි කියනවා මේ වගේ කිසිම ක්‍රියාවලියකට අපිට ඉඩ තියන්නේ නැහැ. ඒකයි අපි මේ වගේ පොදු අවකාශයන් ඇතුලේ කතා කරන්නේ. මෙතන ඉන්න සියලුම දෙනා ආහාරවල අයිතිය සම්බන්ධව කතා කරන පොදු එකතු වෙච්ච කණ්ඩායමක්. ඔවුන් විශේෂයෙන්ම කියා සිටින්නේ මේක පොදු ප්‍රශ්නයක්. විශේෂයෙන්ම ග්‍රාමීය ප්‍රදේශවල ජනතාවන් ණය කරලා, කාන්තාවන්ගේ ජීවිත නැති කරලා දැනට ඔවුන්ට තියෙන ඉඩම් ටිකත් මං කල්ල කන්න මේ ආණ්ඩුව ගෙන යන ක්‍රියාවලියට කොහෙත්ම ඉඩ දෙන්නේ නැහැ. අපි ඒකයි මේ වගේ ෆෝරම් ඇතුලේ මේව කතා කරන්නේ. අපිට අවශ්‍ය වෙනවා ලංකාවේ විතරක් නෙවෙයි අපි රනිල්ට වගේම අපි මෝදිට වගේම ලෝකේ පුරා ඉන්න සියලුම ධනපති නායකයන්ට කියනවා ජනතාව තවදුරටත් නිහඬ නැහැ. ඔවුන්ගේ අයිතිවාසිකම් වෙනුවෙන්, ඔවුන්ගේ බඩගින්න වෙනුවෙන් පාරට බහින්න සූදානම්. විශේෂයෙන්ම මේකේ ගොවියෝ, කම්කරුවෝ මේ සඳහා පරිශ්‍රණය කරන සියලුම දෙනා එකතු වෙලා තමයි අපි තීන්දුවක් අරන් තියෙන්නේ. තවදුරටත් ආහාර නිෂ්පාදනයේ යෙදෙන ක්‍රියාවලිය යෙදෙන ජනතාව විතරක් නෙවෙයි මේ සඳහා ආහාර පරිභෝජනය කරන සියලුම දෙනාගේ ඒකාබද්ධ ගමනක් විදිහට අපි මේ නයලනි ෆෝරම් එක 2025 දී මෝදිගේ බලය තියෙන ඉන්දියාව ඇතුලේ අපි තියනවා කියලා. අපි මෝදිටත් මුළු ලෝකෙටත් කියනවා තවදුරටත් අපි ආහාරයේ අයිතිවාසිකම් වෙනුවෙන් නිහඬ වෙලා ඉන්නේ නැහැ. ඒ සඳහා අපි ක්‍රියා කරනවා. ලංකාව ඇතුලේ මේ වෙලාවේ එක එක විදිහේ පනත් ගෙනල්ලා රනිල් දාන සෙල්ලම් වලට අපි බය නැහැ. ඒ වගේම තමයි අලුත්ම විදිහට දේශගුණ විපර්යාසයන් වෙනුවෙන් කෑ ගහන, ලෝකේ පුරා කෑ ගහන මිනිස්සු කිසිම වෙලාවක කාබන් විමෝචනය සම්බන්ධව ඔවුන්ගේ නිවැරදි උත්තර දෙන්නේ නැහැ. ගෝලීය උතුරට අපි කියනවා උඹලා ගේන බොරු විවේචන වලට අපි කැමති නැහැ. අපිට ඕන පරිසරය ආරක්ෂා කරන්න මිසක් ඒවට සල්ලි නෙවෙයි. මේ වෙලාවේ රනිල් COP28 වලට ගිහින් ගෙනාපු සල්ලි වලින් ලංකාව ඇතුලේ බලාත්කාරයෙන් කෘෂි වනවගාව කරන්න හදනවා. ඒ සඳහා ගිවිසුම් ගහලා තියෙනවා. අපි ඒකට සම්පූර්ණ විරුද්ධයි. මේක කරන්න පුළුවන් ජනතාවට විතරයි. දේශගුණික විපර්යාසයන් වලට උත්තර තියෙන ජනතාව ළඟ විතරයි. ඒකයි අපි කියන්නේ දේශගුණික විපර්යාස වලට උත්තර තියෙන්නේ කුඩා පරිමාණයේ ආහාර නිෂ්පාදකයන් ගාව. ඔවුන්ට විතරයි ඒක කරන්න පුළුවන්. ඔවුන් තමයි මේකේ සැබෑ විකල්පය තියෙන්නේ. උඹලා ගේන කාබන් විමෝචනය සඳහා ගේන බොරු ප්‍රතිපත්ති තව දුරටත් ගැලපෙන්නේ නැහැ. ඒකට අපි විරුද්ධයි. ඒ සඳහා අපි සටන් කරනවා. මේ මහ පොළව අපේ, උඹලාගේ නෙවෙයි. ඒ වෙනුවෙන් අපි මේ සටන දිගටම කරනවා. ඒ සඳහා තමයි අපි මේ සමුළුව දවස් 3ක් තිස්සේ සාකච්ඡා කරමින් අපි කියා සිටින්නේ දේශගුණික විපර්යාස වලට උත්තර හොයන්න, බඩගින්නට උත්තර හොයන්න, තව දුරටත් යුද්ධය වෙනුවෙන් ජනතාව විනාශ කරන දේශපාලනික ක්‍රියාවලිය සහ ආර්ථික ක්‍රියාවලියකට අපි එකග නැහැ. ඒ වගේම තමයි ලෝකේ පුරා විශේෂයෙන්ම පලස්තීනයේ ජනතාවගේ ජීවත් වීමේ අයිතිය අහෝසි කරමින් සිදු කරන මහා සංහාරයට විරුද්ධව මේ සියලු ක්‍රියාවලින් ඒකාබද්ධව අපි කටයුතු කරනවා. ඒ සඳහා තමයි අපි 2025 දී ඉන්දියාවේදී එකතු වෙන්නේ. මෝදිත කියනවා අපි එනවා. අපි මුළු ලෝකේ පුරාම එන්න සියලුම දෙනා එක්ක අපි එනවා. අපි ඇවිල්ලා ලෝකෙට කියනවා අපි තව දුරටත් නිහඬ නැහැ කියලා.
The global need consultation. I'm here to represent myself, Hawaii, and also on behalf of the International Indian Treaty Council. I'm here not just to discuss the issues that we have. However, I've learned in my time here, the people and the colleagues here have solutions to some of our problems, that we as people, as a combined people in solidarity to support the greater good for humanity, not just in what we do, but more so in policy and procedure. Today, I really do speak in collaboration with the partners and people here to promote healthier countries, healthier fisheries, healthier spaces, and to support the efforts. I truly believe even in Hawaii and in our indigenous rights as people in Hawaii, we have similar issues pertaining to some of our lands that are desecrated and development per se on Mauna Kea, on our biggest water source, that we choose not to have. We have other issues in water, a lot of water quality and different things that we too as indigenous people are not recognized or have a greater voice in what's important for us and our livelihood and our resources that we all pertain in. I definitely am in support, and I feel that it's important that at somewhere and someplace that there's solutions to be had. And if we all would listen and pay attention to what the efforts of these people here and the peoples across the world globally that really do have solutions to our problems. I don't think there is enough recognition in a lot of spaces to create policies for our fisheries, because at the end of the day we're all together, we have one ocean, we're all connected, and we're all affected. So today I stand here in solidarity with these people and with my colleagues and the rest of the world that are for and pro food sovereignty. We're pro and for access and or to their seeds, access to their traditional ways, access to their water rights, access to their right to be healthy for the purposes of the greater good for all, for their own spaces and places, whether it's locally and or beneficial to their people. I am in support, and I feel that governments and different leadership really should take in and take a listen into what is really being proposed. I don't think there is enough time or space to have the discussions. So in this process, I hope we have better discussion, more consultation, more understanding, and more solutions to what has already, as we already know in history, we already can see the changes in our environment, climate change, and all these things are real. However, at some point, everyone is responsible, and we all have a responsibility, whether you're government, whether you're local, whether you're just human on earth, we all have a responsibility to take care of it. And how we do it is very important. And being part of this Nalini process, consultation is a way to do it. Is a combined efforts of great people with great intentions, but not just the betterment of themselves, but the betterment for all peoples.
I am here as the Global Steering Committee member for the Forum of Nileni 3.0. And this Forum of Nileni, which will be taking place in India in 2025, have a historical background. During the time of 1996 World Food Summit, the idea of food sovereignty was proposed by farmers' movements. And in 2012, 5 years after the World Food Summit, we the farmers and producers organizations established a global platform to defend food sovereignty in different countries. And this in this platform, over 600 organizations were signed in the conference held in Rome, and we are representing more than 400 millions of small-scale food producers from different sectors of pastoralists, fisherfolk, farmers, indigenous people, agricultural workers, and so on. So we are the largest platform of the small-scale food producers. And why we have established such a food sovereignty platform? Because food sovereignty is the important ideology that can sustain rural livelihood and also the life of the farmers. What we mean by food sovereignty? Food sovereignty means the ability of the smallholder farmers to decide and define our own food and agricultural systems. And we wanted to produce in a way we wanted to produce. We wanted to produce an ecological, sound and sustainable way so that population can be fed food which is culturally appropriate and food which is healthy. And this food has been produced by the smallholder producers historically from our villages. As the statistics shows, more than 70% of the food which is needed for the population is produced by the smallholder farmers, and these statistics do not come into the picture because the food is consumed at local level, regional level, and so on. The people often speak about industrial agriculture that can produce a lot of food, but that is not the reality. They are producing the chemically polluted food which hinder the health systems, which hinder the economy of our own country. And when the smallholder food producers are not supported clearly, that can kill the economy of the country. And I think best example is also Sri Lanka. So when smallholder producers are not supported, we are depending other countries or we are depending on food import. While we are undermining the rights of farmers and producers in our country, we make them leave from the field, from the food production, then the country will be dependent on external food import. And we cannot anymore decide the food price in our own national context. And I think that is one of the reasons of the food crisis also happened in Sri Lanka, and we had historical food crisis in 2008 and so on. The farmers' organizations have been calling for food sovereignty, and farmers' organizations have been calling for support for the production in a more domestic and sustainable way, but the government have not been listening our call so far. That's why we have been explaining to the world what we actually asking for when we are speaking about food sovereignty. The first forum of food sovereignty was held in Mali in 2007 that defined the principles of food sovereignty. And we see that there are different areas that have to be covered in this fight for food sovereignty. Then we need to have a tool that can be used to achieve food sovereignty. That's why in the second forum, which was held in Mali again in 2015, which defined agroecology as a sustainable tool or means of production that can make a sustainable production for the country and also for the humanity. So when we speak first time food sovereignty or agroecology, most of the governments, they do not understand. At least they understand, but they pretend that they do not understand. So that's why it has been difficult for food sovereignty movements to explain to the governments. We have been fighting with this struggle in UN systems. We try our best to speak what exactly we mean about food sovereignty. Most of the people, it is easy to say about food security than food sovereignty. What is the difference? Food security means there is food available. Everywhere food can be available. It can be produced by big agro industries, polluting the environment, killing the living beings, alienating the farmers, food producers. Food can be available, but that food may not be accessible or affordable for the poor people in our country. And I see the difference also. The price for food in Sri Lanka has been skyrocketed. I was in Sri Lanka earlier also, but when I come now, I feel the difference for the food price in Sri Lanka. And in most of our country, when farmers are not given support, they will quit this the food production scenario, and you will be more and more indebted. And the debt issue is also a very important thing I find. This has been killing the economy of Sri Lanka. And also, most of our third world countries, we are under the debt, we are under the conditions put forward by the IMF or World Bank or other Asian Development Bank, and they are really suffocating the governments and also forcing our governments to take decisions in favor of the corporates, and the corporate capture is a big issue that we are fighting against. That's why this forum of Nelleni, we are trying to explain all these things to the different actors. We also wanted to have dialogues with the governments, of course. We also wanted to have a dialogues and consultation with the other sectors. One of the key aspect of this Nelleni 3.0 that will take place in India 2025 will be also a sectoral convergence. We have been fighting, struggling for our rights as producer community, but we also wanted to have a convergence with the other actors, especially of the actors who are defending climate justice. We wanted to work with the labor movements, anti-racist movements, diversity movements. We also wanted to work with environmental organizations and together in India so that we can have a common agenda that can work out further in 2025 and beyond. That's why we are here part of this process in Asia. We are having our regional consultation. This is an consultation with the actors which I already explained, and we are having a collective reflection on this scenario, and we wanted to make some proposals in this regard. So this can be further discussed in the global forum that will take place in southern part of India in 2025. And I take this opportunity also to thank the media people who are here listening a voice of the most marginalized sector. I have my colleagues here representing the smallholder farmers organization in Sri Lanka. We have colleagues from Thailand, the smallholder farmer organization from Thailand, and Subhashini is from fisheries sector from Sri Lanka. We have Anne-Marie from Pacific, from Hawaii, and we have other colleagues behind me also represent different sectors who are contributing the food. And food is treated as weapon right now in many parts of the world, and we can't anymore allow these type of politics of the government. We wanted food as life providing. We wanted to see that food is used for the betterment of the human society, and with passion and compassion we will continue our work in the field.
உலக மீனவ சம்மேளனத்தினுடைய ஒரு பிரதிநிதியாகவும் இந்த இடத்தில் உங்களுடன் கருத்து பரிமாறலாம் என்று நினைக்கின்றேன். இந்த மாநாடானது மூன்றாவது நியலினி உலகளாவிய மன்றத்திற்கான ஆசிய பசிபிக் பிராந்திய ஆலோசனை மாநாடாக இலங்கையில் கடந்த 9ஆம் திகதியிலிருந்து 12ஆம் திகதியான இன்று வரை இலங்கையில் நடைமுறைப்படுத்தப்பட்டு கொண்டிருக்கின்றது. இந்த கருத்தரங்கிலே 12 நாடுகளைச் சேர்ந்த சுமார் 40க்கும் அதிகமானவர்கள் 15 அமைப்புகளை பிரதிநிதித்துவம் செய்து உணவு உற்பத்தி செயற்பாட்டுக்குள் பங்களிப்பு வழங்குகின்ற விவசாயிகள், மீனவர்கள், பழங்குடியினர், மலையக மக்கள், கிராமிய மக்கள், இளைஞர்கள் மற்றும் அந்த ஒவ்வொரு துறையிலும் இருக்கின்ற பெண்கள் என்ற ரீதியிலே பங்கு பெற்றிருக்கின்றார்கள். உண்மையாகவே உணவு தன்னாதிக்கத்தை பற்றி நாங்கள் உலகளாவிய மட்டத்தில் பார்க்கும் பொழுது 170% சிறு உணவு உற்பத்தி செயற்பாட்டில் ஈடுபட்டிருக்கின்றார்கள். ஆனால் அவர்களுக்கான அங்கீகாரம் சரியான முறையில் கிடைக்கப் பெறுகின்றதா என்பதுதான் இந்த மாநாட்டில் நாங்கள் கலந்துரையாடிய விடயமாக காணப்படுகின்றது. இந்த உலகத்திலே மனிதனாக பிறந்த ஒவ்வொருவருக்கும் உணவு என்பது மிக முக்கியமானது ஒன்றாகும். ஆனாலும் இந்த உணவு உற்பத்தி செயற்பாட்டில் ஈடுபடுகின்ற விவசாய மக்களாக இருக்கலாம், மீனவ மக்களாக இருக்கலாம், அனைவருமே பல்வேறு இன்னல்களினால் பாதிக்கப்பட்டு கொண்டிருக்கின்றார்கள். அதிலேயும் ஆசிய நாடுகளைச் சேர்ந்த தெற்காசிய நாட்டைச் சேர்ந்த எங்களை போன்ற இலங்கை போன்ற பல நாடுகள் ஒரே மாதிரியான பல்வேறு பிரச்சனைகளுக்கு முகம் கொடுத்து கொண்டிருக்கின்றோம். உதாரணமாக இன்று உலகமயமாக்கலின் ஊடாக எமது இயற்கை வளங்கள் அளிக்கப்பட்டு கொண்டிருக்கின்றது. இயற்கை வளங்களுக்கான பிரவேசங்கள் யாருக்கு இருக்க வேணும் என்று சொன்னால் உணவு உற்பத்தி செயற்பாட்டில் ஈடுபடுகின்ற அந்த மக்களுக்கானதாகத்தான் அந்த உரிமை இருக்க வேணும். ஆனாலும் உண்மையாகவே இன்று அந்த இயற்கை வளங்களுக்கான பிரவேசங்கள் அளிக்கப்பட்டு கொண்டிருக்கின்றது. அது நிலமாக இருக்கலாம், அல்லது கடலாக இருக்கலாம், அல்லது ஏனைய வனாந்தரங்களாக இருக்கலாம். அந்த அனைத்து வளங்களும் இன்று பல்தேசிய கம்பெனிகளுக்கு விற்பனை செய்யப்படுகின்ற ஒரு நிலைமையை தான் நாங்கள் கண்கூடாக காணக்கூடியதாக இருக்கின்றது. இது ஒவ்வொன்றும் திறந்த பொருளாதார கொள்கைக்குள்ள அபிவிருத்தி என்னும் போர்வைக்குள்ள தான் இந்த ஒவ்வொரு விடயங்களும் சுவீகரிக்கப்பட்டு கொண்டிருக்கின்றது. அதே மாதிரி விவசாயத்துறையை நாங்கள் எடுக்கும் பொழுது உற்பத்தி செய்யப்படுகின்ற உணவுகள் தரமானதாகவும் போசாக்கானதாகவும் இருக்கின்றதா என்பது நாங்கள் இந்த நேரத்தில் வினவ விரும்புகின்றோம். அதற்கு காரணம் ரசாயனமான பல வழிகளை பயன்படுத்தி ஒரு போசாக்கற்ற சமுதாயத்துக்குள் எங்களுடைய பரம்பரையை தள்ளி கொண்டிருக்கின்றார்கள். அதே நேரத்தில் உணவு உற்பத்தி செயற்பாட்டில் ஈடுபடுகின்றவர்களுக்கு தகுந்த மானியங்கள் அரசினால் வழங்கப்படாததன் காரணமாக அவர்கள் தங்களினுடைய உணவு உற்பத்தி செயற்பாட்டில் ஈடுபடுவதற்கான முதலீடுகளை நுண்கடன் நிறுவனங்களிலிருந்து பெற வேண்டிய நிலைமைக்கு அவர்கள் தள்ளப்பட்டிருக்கின்றார்கள். அதே நேரத்தில் இலங்கையை பொறுத்தவரையில் பொருளாதார வீழ்ச்சியை நோக்கி நாங்கள் பயணித்து கொண்டிருக்கின்ற இந்த சந்தர்ப்பத்தில் அந்த விவசாயிக்கோ அல்லது மீனவனுக்கோ அந்த நுண்கடன் நிறுவனங்களினால் எடுக்கப்பட்ட கடன்களை மீள செலுத்த முடியாமலுக்கு பல குடும்பங்கள் வறுமை கோட்டுக்குள் தள்ளப்பட்டு தற்கொலைக்கு முயற்சி செய்து கொண்டிருக்கின்ற ஒரு சூழ்நிலைமையில் தான் நாங்கள் வாழ்ந்து கொண்டிருக்கின்றோம். இவ்வாறான பல விடயங்கள் நிலம் விவசாயம் என்ற ரீதியில் விவசாயிகள் முகம் கொடுத்து கொண்டிருக்கின்ற அதே சந்தர்ப்பத்தில் மீனவர்களும் இந்த உணவு உற்பத்தி செயற்பாட்டுக்கு பாரிய பங்களிப்பு வழங்குகின்ற ஒரு குழுவினராக இருக்கின்றார்கள். ஆனால் ஒரு பக்கம் நிலம் விவசாயிகளுக்கு இல்லாமல் அது கையகப்படுத்தப்படுகின்ற அதே சந்தர்ப்பத்தில் கடலாக இருக்கலாம், பாவிகளாக இருக்கலாம், மீனவ உற்பத்தி செயற்பாட்டில் ஈடுபடுகின்ற அந்த ஒவ்வொரு இயற்கை வளங்களும் நீல பொருளாதாரம் என்ற போர்வைக்குள் எங்களுக்கு அளிக்கப்பட்டு கொண்டிருக்கின்றது. அதே மாதிரி தேசிய பாதுகாப்பு என்ற போர்வைக்குள்ள எங்களுடைய வளங்களுக்கான பிரவேசங்கள் எங்களுக்கு இல்லாமல் போய்கொண்டிருக்கின்றது. ஆகவே இந்த அனைத்து விடயங்களையும் நாங்கள் கவனத்தில் கொண்டுதான் இந்த கடந்த 3 தினங்களிலும் 12 நாடுகளைச் சேர்ந்த நாங்கள் ஒரே மாதிரியான பிரச்சனையை முகம் கொடுத்து கொண்டிருக்கின்றோம். அதன் ஒரு கட்டமாக நாங்கள் 2007ஆம் ஆண்டு மாலி நாட்டில் இந்த முதலாவது உணவு தன்னாதிக்கம் என்ற இந்த விடயம் தொடர்பாக கலந்துரையாடப்பட்டது. அதன் தொடர்ச்சியாக 2015ஆம் ஆண்டில் 2வது தடவையாகவும் உணவு தன்னாதிக்கம் என்ற அந்த விடயத்துக்குள் நாங்கள் கதைத்திருக்கின்றோம். அதே மாதிரி 2025ஆம் ஆண்டு அடுத்த வருடம் நாங்கள் இந்தியாவில் இந்த செயற்பாட்டை மறுபடியும் ஒன்று சேர்ந்த நாடுகள் என்ற ரீதியில் அதற்கான தீர்வுகளை நாங்கள் தேடுவதற்காக சேர இருக்கின்றோம். அதற்கான பரிந்துரைகளாக என்னென்ன விடயங்களை நாங்கள் முன்வைக்க போகின்றோம் என்பதுதான் இந்த மாநாட்டிலே நாங்கள் கலந்துரையாடப்பட்ட ஒரு விடயம். எங்கள் இறுதியாக நான் சொல்ல விரும்புவது உணவு பாதுகாப்பு என்பது உலகத்தில் இருக்கின்ற ஒரு விடயம். ஏனென்றால் உணவு என்பது எல்லா இடங்களிலும் இருக்கின்றது. ஆனால் ஒரு ஏழ்மையான ஒரு குடும்பத்துக்கு அல்லது அந்த உணவு உற்பத்தி செய்யப்படுகின்ற அந்த உற்பத்தியாளருக்கு அந்த உணவை ஒரு தரமானதாக அதே மாதிரி ஒரு பாதுகாப்பானதாக பெற்றுக்கொள்ளக்கூடிய ஒரு சூழ்நிலை இருக்கின்றதா என்பதுதான் நாங்கள் இந்த இடத்துல கேள்வி எழுப்ப விரும்புகின்றோம். என்றால் உணவு தன்னாதிக்கம் என்பது பல அச்சுறுத்தல்களின் காரணமாக அது இன்று மக்களுக்கு விசேடமாக உணவு உற்பத்தி செயற்பாட்டில் ஈடுபடுகின்றவர்களுக்கு அது இல்லாமல் ஆக்கப்பட்டு கொண்டிருக்கின்றது. ஆகவே ஆட்சியாளர்கள் நாங்கள் ஒரு அடிமைவாதத்துக்குள் மறுபடியும் தள்ளப்பட்டு கொண்டிருக்கின்றோம். வல்லரசு நாடுகள் எங்களை போன்ற சிறு நாடுகளை கையகப்படுத்தி கொண்டிருக்கின்றார்கள். அவர்களுடைய ஆதிக்கத்தை மேலும் ஓங்குவதற்காகவும் ஏனைய நாடுகளை அவர்களுடைய சூழ்ச்சிக்குள் தள்ளி அவர்களுடைய கட்டுப்பாட்டுக்குள் எங்களை போன்ற இலங்கை போன்ற நாடுகளை தக்க வைத்துக் கொள்வதுதான் அந்த வல்லரசு நாடுகளினுடைய நோக்கமாக இருக்கின்றது. ஆகவே அந்த வல்லரசு நாடுகளுக்கு நாங்கள் கூறிக்கொள்கின்றோம், உணவு இறைமை அந்த உணவு உற்பத்தி செயற்பாட்டில் ஈடுபடுகின்ற மக்களுக்கானது. அந்த உரிமையில் கை வைக்க வேணாம். அந்த உரிமையில் கை வைக்கின்ற ஒவ்வொரு சந்தர்ப்பத்திலும் மக்கள் என்ற ரீதியில் நாங்கள் ஒன்று சேர்ந்து இதை கேள்வி கேட்போம். அந்த சந்தர்ப்பத்தில் அதிகாரங்களை விட்டு நீங்கள் வீடுகளுக்கு செல்ல வேண்டி ஏற்படும் என்பதனை கூறிக்கொள்கின்றேன்.